What is the state of the sports card hobby? How is 2023 ending up? Well, earlier this month, as part of our virtual holiday card show, I sat down with 4 seasoned industry experts to ask them that question and more. I sat down with Rob Veras from Burbank Sports Cards, Joe Davis from GotBaseballCards, Jason Kuntz from OTIA Sports, and Jeremy Lee from Sports Card Live. These are those interviews. To see you, Rob. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you and yours as well, Jeff. Good to see you, my friend.
I appreciate it. So it's a little after 5 o'clock out there in the Pacific Coast. So LA time. You guys are obviously in Burbank. Is the shop still open right now?
Yeah, we're open till 7. Got some good flow of people through here. It's been a fun day. But yeah, we're open 11 to 7, and we have to kick people out usually, which is nice.
And obviously, most people watching are probably familiar with Burbank Sports Cards, known as one of the premier card shops in the entire world. I think the biggest, or certainly one of the biggest online sellers in our space on eBay. But Rob, for people who maybe haven't come by your store in Burbank, California before, tell them a little bit about what that experience is like.
Well, we just try to make it a positive experience based on just the joy of cards, being able to go through cards, the liquidity that we provide here, put your name on a list. And I got 3 people that buy, so we're constantly bringing in fresh cards. We have tens of thousands of cards in number order here for you to go through and to enjoy. And, we bought like 5 triple shoes of graded cards the last few days. So basically we have our daily new arrival showcases. We just try to make the best experience in the business, and like you, Jeff, just try to put yourself on the other side of the counter and give the best possible experience.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you do that in your store, but you also have one of the largest selection of cards in the world. I know on your eBay store as well. You guys do a ton of mail order too.
Yeah, we have a 7,500-foot facility about a block from here, and we've literally went to a free shipping model, Jeff, where the whole store is a free shipping model. So basically, we got 2.4 million different listings on eBay, and you could buy 5 cards, 3 cards, whatever it is, you're not paying shipping. So that's a real recent development with us, and yeah, we add thousands of cards a day to the site, and we just try to be there for the hobbyist, which I think is key in this day and age, is remembering that it's a hobby.
Yeah, 100%. You're there for the hobbyist, and that has led you to have some celebrities walk through your door from time to time. You've had some cool things go on in your store, different celebrities from LA. You've had, obviously, Michael Rubin there from Fanatics as well. What are some of your favorite moments with people coming into your store, Rob?
It's always a kick. You try to get pictures. You try not to be that guy. Like I had, what's his face? Pete Davidson in here, and he had a big security guard with him, and he was here with Kim Kardashian's son as well as one of the other sisters' son, and didn't really want to bother him or get a picture. I felt kind of bad, but it was cool. He was chill. But yeah, getting Michael Rubin in here was quite the thrill. Just a cool, down-to-earth guy, and someone I think is going to be real positive for the industry.
Yeah, and I know you've been outspoken. I've obviously had you on my Jeff Wilson show podcast multiple times, and you've been pretty outspoken about wanting to see the hobby, the industry, go in the direction of not being all about box breaking and, to use your words, more of a casino type feel. You wanted to see it go in the direction of really catering to the collector. It feels to me like I've seen some of the marketing Topps has done recently and some of the things they're doing. It feels to me like maybe your message is resonating with them a little bit. But where do you see that kind of going with them?
I have Mike Mahan in here regularly. His son is a big fan of the shop, and we've kind of gone back and forth with the breaking, the fractionalized casinos, just everybody trying to fractionalize something in the business. And I'm like, this has never been something that should ever have really been fractionalized to begin with. But in my recent discussions, there's discussions about hobby journeys. And I'm like, That is what I want to talk about. That's what I want to hear. And it's not all about a casino mentality. It's about the joy of collecting and just getting that bubble mailer in the envelope, or going to that local shop and putting your hands on cards, and completing something or setting a goal for yourself. That's what this business was always built upon, and it's been lost the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm that guy on that soapbox speaking on things from experience. And, you know, Fanatics has come in with their Fanatics Live and the breaking and the product all going to certain people. And I'm like, I really don't think breaking should be the forward facing part of the industry. My thoughts, and you know this, Jeff, I've told you this before, is if I have 100 people in my shop and 85 of them have a bad experience, I'm out of business. But with breaking, that's pretty much the number. Is when you do a break, 85% of the people on that break aren't happy. And for every negative interaction that we have within the industry, I'm not a fan. I want 100%. That's the goal. You walk in, you sell me $800 of cards, you had a good experience. You went through my vintage, my value slabs, and you had a good experience. So I have kind of a bit of a soapbox to speak on this, and not a lot of people do speak on this. And I think it's a problem. I think what we have is this silent majority of folks, the vast majority of people in this space collect cards, aren't involved in box breaks, really enjoy it as a hobby, but you don't hear much about them. And I think Fanatics is starting to see that we really need to speak on these journeys, talk to these folks, see what they're buying, and maybe focus more on the cards within these boxes than just fractionalizing these boxes. And that's kind of my goal, is to get that across. And I'm hoping that that's something that changes in the very near future.
Yeah, really, really interesting. What's been hot in your store? We're here in the holiday shopping season. I imagine you've got some holiday shoppers probably in there right now, maybe buying for their family members or friends. What's been hot?
Going back to Fanatics, it's baseball. I really like that most baseball products are affordable. And I think that they make better gifts. You could come in for 30, 50, $100 and come out with something sealed. I think they're doing a hell of a job, whether it's at mass retail or whether it's in the hobby shops. And since we've seen the distributors go away with Fanatics, we're seeing price points that people can afford. And it's Topps products, to be honest with you, Topps baseball. It's dominating everything else. So that's super exciting.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was able to pick up some Topps soccer boxes for my son. In fact, I got some last time I was there at Burbank, but I've been buying more recently. I got some on Midwest Cards, and it's nice to be able to buy boxes for $50 and, you know, give him a box. He can actually get some numbered cards out of it, maybe get an autograph out of it, and he can have, you know, rip all he wants, and I don't feel like I'm getting, you know, financially killed on that box.
Yeah, I think that's important too, is to recognize, especially with the economic outlook that we have right now, that $50 is a lot of money to a lot of people. And we've kind of disregarded these folks for the last 3-4 years. And I think what's happening in the industry right now is really a net positive, that so many things all of a sudden are leveling out to price points where more people can engage in that whole 3, 5, 10xing the hobby. I think it's going to happen when we have more affordable price points in play, and a mom can come in with her kids and walk out of here for $60 with some sealed products for both of the kids and feel good about the purchase. So that's kind of my opinion anyways. And I think this holiday season, we're seeing that, where we're seeing a much lower price point box on average being checked out at the register. And to me, that's a positive.
It's very much a positive. Awesome, Rob. Well, I appreciate you joining. For people who haven't followed you, tell them how they can follow Burbank Cards.
You can follow me at Instagram at Burbank Cards. You can follow our website, which is burbankcards.com. And you can shop us on eBay. We've got over 6 million cards sold on there. Just put in Burbank Sports Cards eBay and you'll see the whole selection, and it's all free shipping. And Hey, come on out to Burbank. We'd love to have you in the shop. 41 showcases, the craziest selection out there. So if you're coming to SoCal, come visit the Card Father.
And the Burbank Card Show back Ontario, right, in February.
Yeah, we're super pumped. We've expanded the team. We have the whole Ontario Convention Center, and it's in California, not Canada. That's
Get on the right flight.
And so it's, February 15th through 18th, and we announced that we're going back to Anaheim on August, I think it's 22nd to 25th, and we're doing the same facility there again. So super
awesome.
Pumped to bring big card shows to the West Coast.
Great to see you, Rob. Happy holidays.
Give my best to you and yours. Thanks, Jeff.
Take care. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Hey, Jeff, doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Merry Christmas to you. You got quite the display behind you there.
Yeah, I got to have cards. I've got a lot of different offices, but got to have cards wherever I'm at. So.
Yeah, that's a really nice display. I like that. I see, it looks like I see a Dr. J rookie over your shoulder there.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorites as a kid.
Yeah, is that a Larry Bird, the Larry Bird Magic Johnson, Dr. J, a couple below maybe?
Yeah, I believe that's that's actually just the Magic and Irving. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I could only see little things, but I'm guessing based on some of the patterns. But that's awesome, Joe. So you've been part of these. We've done these virtuals now for a few years, and I got to know you. You were so Joe actually is a cool backstory. Joe was the first person that I got to know in the sports card hobby when I got back into it. So I had gotten back into it back in 2018. But hadn't gone to any card shops. I started buying cards online, and I was, buying cards online, reading online, consuming content. And then it was actually Father's Day of 2019. My wife said to me, she's like, you've become obsessed with sports cards. You've been getting all these boxes in the mail. And she said, for Father's Day, she had planned out. She's like, I'm going to drive you around to the local card shops in Atlanta so that you could actually get to experience card shops as well. And I was thrilled, and we ended up in Joe's shop, and Joe and I ended up chatting a little bit that day, and then a little bit more. I came back a few weeks later, and I was like, hey, I want to learn more from you. I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel. And then Joe was on a lot of our early videos such as like baseball card collecting and investing 101 and how to get good deals at card shows. A lot of those early videos we did featured you.
Yeah. It was a great learning experience, and I always love educating young collectors and those getting back into the hobby as you were at that time. So a lot of good memories. We've got to share a lot of great content together for sure.
We did. It was fun. And one of the things that we've done a lot of content on over the years is grading. And we do that because you're one of the biggest bulk grading submitters in the land. So for people who don't know what bulk grading submitting is, or maybe don't understand why they would use a service like yours for their grading needs, tell them more about that.
Sure thing. Yeah, we've been happy to partner with Sports Card Investor for years now on our bulk grading program. And we make it, Jeff, we have not even got to talk lately about some of the revisions and refinements we've done to simplify it even more for your viewers tonight. For those who want to submit through us, one of the biggest advantages is the fact that we offer the expert pre-screening. I've personally been in the hobby since the late 70s and full-time since the late 80s. We started being a submitter with PSA back in 1998, as well as with SGC. I saw you had Peter on. Think the world of him and SGC as well. And we work closely with both companies, and they make up the majority of the submissions we handle. We process thousands and thousands of submissions every month. We offer screening for a small fee of $2, but we do all the work. And so if your submitters want to go on sportscardinvestor.com, just click on the grading tab, and then at the very top of the grading page, there's a link that says start your submission. And literally inside of 60 seconds, they can give us all the information we need. And all they've got to provide is name, email, phone, and the number of cards they want to submit to us, and send them off. And then we take it from there. So they don't have to do any forms anymore. They don't have to fill out any of the paperwork. And also something we're going to be offering. We're offering right now through Sunday for all of the viewers here. Our lowest pricing of the year, which is $19 with PSA, $15 with SGC, with no minimums. So usually you have to hit a quantity with us to get that kind of pricing, but no minimums. You can just tell us the number of the cards you want to submit, fill out that quick form inside of 60 seconds, and send your cards off to us. And the other bonus is for those who submit 20 or more, we don't even bill you for the grading until January. So you've got delayed billing. With SGC is turning the cards so quickly, you'll have them back before January, probably at the rate they're going. But so that applies more to PSA. But we have been doing it longer than any other group submitter. We work with thousands and thousands of collectors across the globe. The other big benefit with us, I'll show you quickly. Got a nice Maze rookie here.
Very beautiful.
That one just came back. That submitter then got the card back from us for grading and then turned it over through our consignment program because many of our submitters like to grade with us, get the cards back, and then hand them right over to us so that we can sell them for them. So as we tell people, you can send us a raw card and you're going to get a check back from us because we'll handle everything in between. So another great thing, another thing we offer that some group submitters do not.
Yeah, it's a super nice service, guys. So if you're thinking about sending your cards off for grading, and if you're not super experienced on your own as to how to evaluate your cards, or if you just simply want to save time, that's where somebody like Joe's service is just so incredibly helpful. And the prices you get in many cases they're cheaper, especially through if you're going to do a PSA submission, because you got to join PSA's Collectors Club if you want their cheapest rates, but you don't have to do that. If you send your cards to Joe, it's going to be $19 a card. You don't have to pay for the PSA Collectors Club. So that's another perk of going through Joe's service as well.
Yeah, and we work with, again, thousands across the globe, and we try to handle all the confusing things that can happen with cards. Like they come in and we prevent cards from, like, counterfeits being sent off. We catch that on the front end. Cards that are altered, we often catch that on the front end. So we've saved submitters thousands of dollars. I can't tell you how many counterfeit Jordans we've had submitted this year that we caught before they paid hundreds of dollars to PSA to have them graded. But we pride ourselves in helping collectors. We spend hours every day on emails answering questions about collectors' cards that they send to us and helping advise them where they should send them, what speed they should send them at, etc.
Yeah, there you go. And by the way, we're seeing some great comments of people who have used your service up on the screen right now. And guys, to use Joe's service and take advantage of Joe's special offer tonight, you want to go to sportscardinvestor.com and click the grading tab in the main menu bar. It's super easy. It's super easy. Just go to sportscardinvestor.com, click grading, and the submission process, only a few things to fill out, and then you ship your cards and you will be all set. And Joe, of course, you do much more than grading. You've got your own shop here in Atlanta, and you're on the east side of Atlanta. My new shop's gonna be on the west side of Atlanta. I'm trying to be the best card shop on the west side of Atlanta, but you're definitely the best card shop, for the east side of Atlanta. And you've been there for, you've been there now for what, about
32,
close to 32 years. 32 years.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. That's, wow, what a history. What's hot right now in your card shop?
A lot of, I saw you had Rob on earlier. He was talking about the low-priced Topps products have been very popular, like the holiday boxes and the Chrome Update, the archives and the archives collector tins. Those have been, factory sets. This time of year, we sell a ton of factory sets at our store in Loganville. Also, the new Elite football has been very hot, as well as the new hoops, because it has the first Wembanyama NBA, cards in the Spurs uniform. So
yeah,
they've all been very good sellers. The retail store is incredibly busy, and I look forward to welcoming you as a retailer here in the Metro Atlanta area. And we're going to encourage collectors to fly in and hit 2 great stores all in one trip.
There you go. Now you got 2 tourist destinations to visit when you come into Atlanta. Yeah. And Joe's giving away 10 free grading submissions tonight. That is being added to the giveaway, and we're going to be announcing the winners here in just a couple of minutes. Joe, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for joining the virtual holiday.
Merry Christmas to you, Jeff. Thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it, everyone.
Hey, Jason, it's great to see you.
Jeff, what's up, man? Nice hat.
Yes, thank you very much. And those of you who have seen a little bit of Sports Card Investor, we did a great slabs episode with Jason going through his incredible collection. I think that came out in maybe around January of this year. That was a really cool episode. We also got a tour ISA grading, which we're going to talk about here a little more in a minute. But I recognize this room behind you. This is your own personal basketball court, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, more of my kids now, but yeah, it's my court. So, yeah, I basically did what every young kid would do if you were given money, and built my own basketball court. So.
It's pretty. It is a cool setup indeed. I was glad I had the chance to see that while I was there. Speaking of young kids, you got started in the hobby when you were really young. You kind of figured out how to hustle your way through the hobby back when you were in high school. Can you tell everybody about that?
Yeah, I got it in the early 90s. This was like the most uncool thing in the world to do, which is like what is so awesome to see now is all these young kids at the shows and wheeling and dealing. And back when I was doing it, I mean, it was all 40 to 60-year-old white men, buying off other dealers. And now it's just like, all, men, women, all types of backgrounds, young kids. It's incredible to see everything evolved in the past 30 years when I started.
Yeah. And I love the story of how you were like leaving high school, rushing to the airport, getting on a plane to Frankenson. Tell everybody about what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend it, but yeah, like my junior and senior year, like I would, like Tuesday night, I would fly to LA, which is like a 5-hour flight, skip school Wednesday, go to the Frankenson show, and then take the red eye home back for class early Thursday morning at 7 a.m.
That's crazy. I mean, that's the hustle, right? That got you started in this whole thing, and you clearly, hustled your way to making a living in cards. And then all these years later, you've been doing it this whole time through. It's turned into a big business for you.
Yeah, I think hands-on experience is, much more beneficial than school. I see you when you're at shows with your kids, teaching them how to negotiate and like letting them find out for themselves if they did good on a deal or they got small. I feel like that's, throwing somebody into the fire is the best way to learn.
100%. Totally agree. You're doing big things now on Whatnot. Of course, Whatnot's one of our sponsors of the show. You're a big seller on Whatnot. Tell everybody what you do there.
Yeah, so we do a lot of consignments. I have a lot of inventory, new stuff, old stuff, So basically it's like in order for me to, buy more product, it's like it's not really financially responsible for me to cut into my real estate and stock investments now. So it's like when I want to keep adding stuff, I decide to just sell some stuff off and, whatever. And so really to keep my habit going of being an addict of buying, you kind of got to, nobody has unlimited money unless you're, a certain few people. So yeah, just really you sell some stuff to buy new stuff like everybody else. But I'm invested in, 20 businesses throughout the hobby just to kind of keep me engaged in this from, just because there's a lot of love for the sports card business,
And one of those businesses is ISA grading. I had an opportunity to go up and visit you earlier this year. Actually, it was late last year, but we put the video out earlier this year. Tell everybody how have things progressed since I saw you a year ago? What's the latest with ISA?
Yeah, it's been amazing, dude. It's like the point where, we don't even argue with people anymore who are like, dead set on the main company. We don't argue with people anymore, but we're so busy and backed up with our customer base that we have right now. I mean, it's, and it's hard to scale once past a certain point because you don't want to sacrifice the quality and the grading and everything. So, I mean, we're doing 1,000 to 1,600 cards a day right now, which is really good. It allows people to send in some better stuff. Like we get a lot of Jordan rookies. People know that I know a decent amount about Jordan rookies. So it's just a good way to, if you have a Jordan in question, before sending it off and paying $1,000 to find out if it's counterfeit or not, spend 15 or 20 bucks and get, even if you don't like the holder, you don't like ISA, anything, it's just a good way of getting a quick opinion, on a bigger card to find out if it's been altered, if it's real, before you spend big bucks and send it to like maybe PSA. And then on the cheaper stuff, especially on Whatnot, the $50 to $300 stuff, ISA's been doing great.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that. I'm seeing more and more ISA slabs on Whatnot, and also when I go to card shows, I see more ISA slabs in the booth as well. What's going on right now with the with the quarterback market, Jason, it seems like we've had I know you follow the market pretty closely, and man, we've had a rash of injuries this year. T-Law goes down, this weekend, and of course, Burrow's out for the season. Aaron Rodgers, everyone knows what happened with him on the first game. It just seems like we've just had some unfortunate circumstances this year for the NFL market.
Yeah, I mean, like I've kind of been through this weird cycle. This will be like the fourth time now of the market doing what it's doing, and I think the combination of the quantity available and the players not doing well, people are in 2023 started to feel a lot of pain. But I think in 2024 it's like really going to set in, especially with some of these guys like Zach Wilson and Desmond Ridder, maybe some of these guys like there's I remember Dante Culpepper cards were $10,000 and now they're $20. Like there's going to be guys out there holding cards that they paid $10,000, $20,000 for that are worth $30, $40, and like it's hard to ever accept that, but it's just the reality, and I think that it's really bad in the moment, but I feel like it's good educational because you take that hit and it kind of allows you to reconsider what your goals are, and like I love taking risks on quarterbacks and stuff, and it's fun. But like you really need to do it, and I know you do it. Like people always give you shit about the Desmond Ridder stuff, but it's like the reality is you're probably 90% into quality items, and then you acknowledge that you took a gamble on some stuff, and it is what it is. And I've taken plenty of gambles and lost, and I just worry about the guys that come in that across all avenues that just like want to get rich quick, and it's like they dump their entire bankroll into all these new quarterbacks, and it's just not going to end well. So I would just strongly advise put into like one of these quarterbacks as a risk. Like you have to know that it's a gamble, and it could 50x or 20x, and it also could go down 99%. So I think a lot of new people are figuring that out in the last year, and definitely this upcoming year.
You never know, and I know you were, even when I was there, I saw a lot of your Andrew Luck collection, and that's like another one of those stories. With Andrew Luck, it's even crazier because he had such a great career. He was on the path to being such a star, and then, he has other interests outside of football. So it is always a risk. It's great advice. Collect the GOATs, collect the established players, collect the guys who are in the Hall of Fame, and in the long term, it's certainly safer than chasing the quarterbacks. But you know what? It's also fun to chase some of the young prospects as well.
It's a lot of fun. Matt Castle too. Yeah. Matt Castle's another one for me that was a lot of fun, and it just I use them as table coasters now. Yeah.
What can you do? All right, Jason, for anyone out there who's not familiar with you, tell them how they can follow you and also find out more about what you're doing on Whatnot and with ISA.
Yeah, and Whatnot right now, it's OTIA Consignments is the handle. But the main way to communicate with me is Instagram. I guess if everybody wants to go follow right now, I'll pick out 3 people to give out some Wemby rookie ISA 10s. So if you go follow us on Instagram at OTIA Sports, I'll scroll through it tonight, and I'll pick out. I'll randomly DM 3 people and send them a Gem Mint 10 Wemby rookie.
That's the deal. His Instagram handle is right below him. So look, you see it down there on the bottom of the screen. There you go. It's right there. Go follow him on Instagram. Jason's a great dude. And apparently you might get a Wemby PSA 10 if you follow him tonight. Jason, happy holidays, man. And by the way, good luck to your Michigan team.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's a big one. I'll see you in Atlanta, hopefully in a month and a half.
Awesome. You got it. Take care.
All right, later, Jeff.
Jeremy, how you doing? Welcome to the virtual holiday.
I'm good, Jeff. Thanks for having me. It's a tough spot. You got to follow Joe Davison right before the giveaways, so I don't know how the crowd's going to like this so much.
It's like being the speaker right before the lunch break or something like that. Everyone's ready to go get their meal. No, I'm sure people are appreciative of having you in the slot tonight, Jeremy, because you're probably the hardest working content creator in the hobby. You have dedicated so many of your nights, so many of your prime hours, including your Saturday night hours, your prime hours. You've dedicated those hours to the hobby for, about 3.5 years now that you've been doing your Sports Card Live show?
Yeah, I started in April 2020. So yeah, we're coming up on almost 4 years, almost 500 live streams. And it's been a blast, Jeff. I mean, you know how it is making content. It's fun. You get to meet so many people and share your thoughts on things. So yeah, it's been a great run so far.
What I like, one of the things I like about the content that you produce, Jeremy, is you have a kind of a very specific niche that you've created for yourself. You've got a very specific type of content, and that's an interview style show. You do long interviews, and you've added diversity. You now do things like auction watch parties and everything like that as well. But your bread and butter is this kind of long form interview style live show. And when you started doing this, I think you were really the first kind of show of its type in the hobby.
Maybe. I mean, I think so. It's that's my Saturday night show. I call it. I refer to it as kind of like my flagship show. This Saturday will be episode 206 or 207, and I've had on over 250 unique people. You've been on a few times, Jeff. Your team has been on, and then it's almost 3 years ago now. I started doing these live auction watch parties, and I've turned that into a service where I provide it to several different auction companies in the space now, and it's a lot of fun. I have a Sunday night show. I have a Monday night show. Those are regular. And then, a few times a month, I have other shows for companies that don't necessarily have a weekly auction. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun. My Monday night show, I call it the most action in all of hobby content, because I literally it's like when you go to a sporting event or you listen to a sporting event or you watch one, there's someone providing the commentary on the action. I provide the commentary on auction action. And Monday night show is called MC Mondays Live. And, it's one auction per minute for about 75 minutes. And it's a lot of fun to call the action, and the viewers love it too. So, yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun to watch. You've had such a variety of guests on your show over the last, 3.5 years. You interview different people every single week, different interesting people. Who has maybe what's one guest that maybe surprised you in terms of you didn't think, it wasn't maybe one of the top name people in the hobby or something like that, and you weren't sure about the interview, but you got done with it and you're like, man, that was a really great interview.
That's a great question. I can tell you just about, if I have a lesser known guest that comes on the show, I don't really know how the audience is going to respond. And maybe, I plan with all my guests a few days ahead of time. I like to get to know my guests before we do a show. It just makes for a much more smooth production. And sometimes I'm not sure what to expect. And I might even say to my wife, I'm not sure about tonight. And then, as it goes, I go back upstairs after. She says, "How was your show?" I go, it was awesome. So the ones, though, to answer your question, are the collector episodes. Like, I bring on industry insiders, entrepreneurs, other content creators, passionate collectors, and people from just the average collector to some of the most powerful people in the hobby, I guess. And it's those collector episodes that my audience really loves and says they want to see more of. So I can't, Jeff, it's hard to name one person, one guest. I can just say that I've had, like I said, out of 206 or 7 episodes so far, on less than one hand can I count those that I maybe was less than happy with.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's been a great variety of episodes as well. Jeremy, I can't but help notice, it looks like you've got the famous Wayne Gretzky O-Pee-Chee. Is that the O-Pee-Chee? That's the O-Pee-Chee Gretzky rookie there.
It's the, it might be the tops, because the O-Pee-Chee, he has a yellow dot right here on the shoulder, and that is not present on this shirt. But if you look at this, Jeff, you can tell this is definitely a trimmed card. Those borders are way too narrow, but it's just it's a Gretzky rookie shirt. And I thought that I would represent hockey and the most iconic hockey card while I'm on with you tonight.
Well, and it's fitting because you reside up there in Canada, and Canada is home of the Sport Card Expo, which is for a lot of probably a lot of our audience has never been to that show, but it is one of the best sports card shows that takes place anywhere in the world every single year. It's up in Canada, up in Toronto a couple of times a year, and then they do a version in Edmonton, I believe, as well. I've not been to that one, but the Toronto show, I can speak from firsthand experience, is fantastic. I didn't make it to the one this last November, but I saw photos of this on Instagram. Jeremy, it looked like complete and utter chaos with the number of people that were there.
Yeah, it was good mayhem in the room. That show has grown. It's now the same size as the National was pre-pandemic, square footage wise. So unbelievable. Saturday from like 11 till 2:30, 3 o'clock. It was hard to move around some parts of the show. It was the energy, the vibe, it was all good. Everyone was having a great time. Lots of transactional volume. You know, as everybody knows, prices are down from the peak, of course, but that just makes cards. I heard one of your guests say this earlier. That just makes cards available to more people. More cards are now within people's price range, and I think that's a good thing. I think, you know, the hobby has always been a cyclical phenomenon, and I think that you know, we're in a stage now where, again, people can acquire more cards than they could have if they came into the hobby in 2020 or 2021, and you know, maybe that's gonna just spark another cycle the other way eventually. And I'm not calling the future or anything, but I just think I think we're in a good place right now in the hobby.
I agree. And you know, it's super encouraging to see the attendance at that show and other shows that I've been to. I mean, I was at the Philly Card Show this last weekend. It was pretty busy at the Philly show. And I've been to a lot of shows this year, you know, all over the country. And as you said, despite the fact that prices are down, traffic at these card shows, I mean, the National set its all-time attendance record this year, which is amazing to think about. But in many ways, the fact that prices are down may actually only be helping that fact, because now it is a little more affordable for people to, you know, buy a card that they really like and that has some rarity and significance to it, but they're not having to break the bank the way that they would have had to a couple of years ago.
I completely agree. And this applies to all price points. Cards that were selling for $1 million 2 years ago are now selling for $150,000. So that's way up there. I mean, what's that? 0.001% of people really play in that area. But cards that were $20,000, you can now get for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. And cards that might have been $200, you can get for $50 to $75. Of course, this doesn't apply to all cards, but it does apply to a lot of them. And I think that's why we're seeing so many people at the shows and a lot of young people at the shows. The expo in Toronto was filled with young people. That was only about 3 weeks ago. And I mean, I just came out of that show feeling so just excited about 2024 and beyond for the hobby. And I mean, it's a hockey centric show, as you well know, probably about 80% hockey. But hockey collectors are passionate, and they kind of, to an extent, ignore what might be going on everywhere else in the hobby, and they love their card. We love our cards. I mean, I collect hockey, basketball, baseball, and football, but hockey's my number one sport to collect, and it's tough to let go of cards when you do need to let go of them sometimes. And I think a lot of collectors, Canadian collectors, hockey collectors, I think we're the second most passionate collectors of a sport behind only baseball, is my perspective.
I would completely agree. Getting to go to the Sport Card Expo, the passion of hockey collectors is really high. I mean, it's really unmatched in many ways. So that's really awesome. All right, Jeremy, before I get you out of here, you added to the giveaway tonight. We're about to announce the winner here in just a second. Tell us about what you added to the giveaway.
Yeah, so I'm affiliated with Tag Grading out of Los Angeles, the automated grading company, and they want to put up a 10-card grading package to one of your viewers tonight.
Awesome. We appreciate that. Thank you very much, Jeremy. And for everyone watching who maybe hasn't caught an episode of Sports Card Live yet, tell them how they can do that.
Yeah, my YouTube channel is called Sports Cards Live. It's I don't have a logo handy, but it's a neon sign that says Sports Cards Live in it. And I don't have as many viewers as Dustin had, Jeff, so I could use some help too. I saw last night you got Dustin over 20,000. Congratulations to him. I'm just over 6,000 subscribers with my long form videos. But Sports Cards Live is the YouTube channel. And on Instagram, I am, well, it's right under my name there. I see jlee_Sports Cards Live.
There you go. Awesome, Jeremy. Well, definitely check out Jeremy. Go subscribe to Sports Card Live because it is definitely worth a watch. Appreciate you, Jeremy, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you, your team, everybody watching. Thanks for having me. Third year in a row, Jeff. It's been fun. Thanks again.
It's a pleasure having you on. Talk soon.